What's up, everybody, and welcome to Assemble Live. I'm here on the youtube.com/Assemble Show, and today we are talking all things 2K22 when it comes to loot boxes in the game, the PEGI rating that came out for the game itself, supposedly the actual one, but we'll get into that. A little bit of WWE news, talking about the ratings. AEW, winter is coming. We're going to talk a little bit about AEW and some follow-ups to the Jeff Hardy news. If you guys are new to the show, if you're joining us live here on YouTube, thank you so much for supporting us here live on the show, youtube.com/Assemble Show, and we are going to say, give us that subscribe. Hit that like button. Helps YouTube algorithm. Hang out with us. We do this stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays all through December and January to see how everybody likes it. If the community likes it and enjoys hanging out, talking all things wrestling, then we will do that. Let's go. Let's get into the PEGI ratings here. So, like we were talking about just as we were getting on the air, PEGI ratings mean how we're going to rate these video games according to the rules of the law. So, this has just come out. Other content creators have just touched on this. They're talking a little bit about the actual PEGI rating for 2K22. Let's take this with a grain of salt because we don't know for sure that this will be confirmed and if this will be the final kind of number to it. But when it does get a PEGI 16 rating, they do qualify it for violence, obviously, it's a wrestling game, and then the in-game purchases. Now, that's not unknown because we know that they were going to be doing the virtual currency in the game, and that was confirmed by 2K. But we need to talk a little bit further about this because it does have in here for in-game purchases and includes random items. So that's the piece there that has people kind of looking at this going, really interesting. The other piece that I want to pull from the from the actual PEGI.info, where they've actually put this through. The other piece to look at is right here at the bottom for other issues. This game offers players the opportunity to purchase in-game items in the form of card packs. Then it goes on to just why this is just basically the warning for all this. There's bad language in the game too, guys. They say the B word and other words. So, yeah, really to talk about 2K22, the little bit of tidbit news that we do have here is that we will have the in-game purchases with random items and player cards, in-game items in the form of card packs. So we have seen 2K go through this with NBA and the other games that they have under their belt. I feel like they're going much more in that direction. They're going to potentially go down the route of card packs, superstars, this playing into my faction, which is confirmed by 2K and the team over there that the loot boxes, or excuse me, the virtual currency will be used in only like the My Factions mode. And they've talked a little bit about what that's going to entail, but this rating is interesting because if you tie the whole thing together, we get a nice little story there of just how it looks like we would use card packs, we would unlock card packs of different superstars potentially in the form of virtual currency, or it's randomized. Now, this can get people really worried. My concern over here, just me, is that how much are we going to see for in-game purchases, card packs, randomizers, clicking the box at the end, like building out your My Faction collecting points, for example, and then getting, kind of screwed up on getting card packs and pulling out random items. And if those random items could be things like custom creation, tires, boots, shoes, gear, like all of that stuff, that's what would have me worried, is it's going to affect the gameplay. And I think that this is where other developers, if we look at places like EA, they have gone down this path and got just slapped like crazy, right? When they did this with Battlefront and they went super hard on loot boxes, and it really, really destroyed that game. Now, they did turn that one around, but you're dealing with a large property in that of Star Wars and Disney was not very happy with that situation. This is obviously a little bit different. We don't know the extent of what the loot boxes, cards, card packs, and the actual in-game purchases will be used. All we know is that it's going to be revolving around the My Factions mode, What do you all think, though? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about 2K utilizing card packs, the virtual currency, and are we looking at a little bit of the, pay to win, not pay to win necessarily, but just loot boxes? I don't want to necessarily say loot boxes only because I think when a lot of us utilize those terms of loot boxes in a video game, we have a connotation, we have a preconceived notion of what that actually looks like. Literally clicking on the box and it spins around and cha-ching and you unbox something else. Similar to Battlegrounds, right? Battlegrounds had it where like you could click on the superstar that was in the little case. It's actually kind of cool graphic. It was fun. But you click on them to unlock and open up the other attires. I'm a little concerned that 2K would go down this path. If they only put it in the one mode, everybody, to me, if they keep it in my factions and you don't have to necessarily spend anything, you can actually just rack up in-game currency naturally by grinding. I'm okay with that because then you give players the option if they want to use actual dollars and buy in-game currency to then unlock more stars, more legends to build up their faction. That's just me. I want to know what you guys think. I do feel like Balmer brand, like they're unnecessary. I agree. We're trying to just play our wrestling game here. We're not trying to go down the path of getting nickeled and dimed because we're not going to see this game come to like Game Pass on Xbox. We're not going to see that. We're going to be paying full retail price, whether it's UK, Canada here, or US, and so on. And it's going to be full retail price for a 2K title. And they're expensive. If you're going to add in things like putting in randomizers, card packs, and getting fans and getting players to actually collect, it's a little dangerous. Hopefully they find this thing a little bit balanced, but we'll see. Positively E, good to see you, buddy. Great supporter of the show. Loot boxes in 2K22 were decks of cards, in WWE 2K were decks of cards after the first few times were with those backstage and WWE road cases. So there you go. Thank you, E. You are always on top of all of our 2K knowledge, my friend. VJ says, as long as the game is good and you can use them in-game coins, then I'm okay. So that's the thing too, right? Is like, I think for a lot of us here, it's a little bit of balance. It's making sure that 2K is balanced. Now, I'm feeling hopeful at least. Ballroom Dancer, good to see you. Great to have you back. I'm optimistic that 2K is going to balance this with the devs working hard to make sure that they're putting together a good game that's going to work for fans. Having over a year and a half of development, right, of this thing, they do need to be careful. Now, as somebody who's played casually on the NBA 2K side of things, I have the game, I've upgraded the game to the next gen version. I don't get into the player card packs. That stuff doesn't interest me, but I'm not a huge basketball fan. So I don't really have ties to that to build out my dynasty or all of my players or just collect the cards. But I do know that like for friends of mine that play on the NHL side and they play NHL 22, that's a big, big factor is all of that. And that's getting into the sports franchises and it's a different beast. I think wrestling fans were just like, hey, is the core gameplay good? Does it feel good? Is the roster okay? Do we get the matches we want? War games. Everybody, we just want war games. Like, come on. Like, all I read in my comments every day, guys, is just, I want war games. Matt, could we get war games? Matt, what matches do you want? And then people proceed by saying, I want war games. I don't make the rules. What I would like to do, briefly, so what do you guys think? Let me know about the Peggy ratings. We're going to move on to some more wrestling news. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out in the chat with Matt Rhymes. One thing I do want to note, the setup. It's like an Easter egg hunt in here. I have changed something. Well, I shouldn't say changed. I've added. And I'm starting to feel itchy that I'm going to be adding more in here, ladies and gentlemen. Ninja Turtles. Look who's up there. Yeah, that's right. That's the original Crane guy. Found him this morning. Also, down here, next to Thor, right there. You can't really see that? It's a Reboot. It's original Reboot toys. Now, people don't know. Reboot. Off you go. Because you need to know all the good things of Reboot. Let's talk a little bit about some WWE. And let's get into things like the Rumor Killer from Wrestle Talks. Rumor Killer on absurd take regarding Jeff Hardy WWE releases. I will be Larry Otero. I will be the reigning defending Universal Assemble champion. Yeah, buddy. Because everyone just calls me LA Knight. By the way, guys, do you know that as soon as sorry, I'm going to get into this Jeff Hardy in just a second. I have been called in the comments of multiple shows in the last week. I think 4 times it's come up. People have been like, hey, you kind of look like LA Knight. I know. This is my official message. I know. And it's okay. We're all having a good time here. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was released from WWE on December 9th after refusing WWE's offer for rehab. And from there, Jeff Hardy just actually posted a video, but there's been a little bit of controversy going around right now. A little bit. Just that. Yeah, thank you. LA Knight from Walmart. You got that right. Let's go. Bargain bin. I'm a bargain bin LA Knight. That's what I am. Since Jeff's departure, some fans have speculated that Jeff was attempting to get fired prior to his release. As per Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, those close to Jeff stated that he was not working to get out of his deal. V-Trigger, subscribe. Thank you, buddy. Calling this rumor, it's just absurd. Sean Ross Sapp tweeted and said, "It seems silly to address this at all, but according to those close to with him I spoke to, Jeff Hardy wasn't trying to get fired from WWE. He wasn't working to get out of his deal. The exact phrase I was given was that it was an absurd take." I think that fans are looking at this. What do you guys think? Jeremiah, good to see you. Good to have you. I think a lot of fans are reading into this Jeff Hardy situation as a work. Like he worked WWE to get out of it because he immediately followed up with Matt and did a video, and it just all kind of seemed odd timing that like he immediately got out of it, and then yeah, it didn't it didn't really bode well, did it? So I think that fans kind of jumped on it because it felt like Jeff was getting out of his contract. That's what it seemed like. I mean, hopefully it was just a health issue, and then WWE was like, hey, you need to see rehab and treatment, and he refused, so they said, all right, you're gone. I don't know the situation, but I'm sure it is absurd to think that Jeff Hardy was trying to actually like get out of his deal. But it's at least in the news. Matt Hardy says, this is also coming from Wrestle Talk, says that WWE, quote, jumped the gun on releasing Jeff Hardy. When he was released, Matt had the following to say. It says, "What I am saying is Jeff is in the best place I've seen him in a very long time. As far as the details of what went down on that evening and in that match, I've talked with Jeff, and I feel good about everything he said, and that's Jeff's story to share. And he told me he will when he's ready to." Matt continued on, revealing that Jeff was drug tested by WWE after the event, and that he believes WWE jumped the gun by releasing his brother. He added, "But before anyone rushes to judgment, obviously they drug tested him after all of this stuff. Wait until you hear the results of that. And when that comes back clean, then hopefully people will feel better about it, because I feel very good about Jeff. I feel confident about Jeff, and WWE, I understand their stance too. They felt like they were backed into a corner because of his history. Even though they may have jumped the gun with this is a little bit, they made a decision, and it is what it is. Jeff didn't say he was going to go to rehabilitation because he didn't feel he needed to. And I don't think he did either. And that's the honest God truth." Well, I think it's interesting. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Matt Hardy's, yeah, but then they did it. So Jeff's now doing a promotional thing, guys. He posted on Matt's site, basically telling that he's going to be doing some appearances in the very near future. Let's take a look for a second, and let's look at the chat. What do you got? What do you say? What do you be? You guys are just hanging out. I do like that I'm an LA Knight from Walmart. That does make me giggle. Acknowledge, Larry. Acknowledge me. No, it's all good. Do you think The Rock will return for WrestleMania? I don't. I think Rock is next year. I think. You didn't get a notification? I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't think Rock is this year. Why am I doing an Obama? I don't think Rock is this year. I think Rock is next year. I think it's too tight for a schedule. I don't think they would do it now. I think if they were going to do it, they would have poked Rock at Survivor Series. If they could have had him show up in any capacity, start getting the ball rolling. You never know. He could pop up at the Rumble. WWE just wants to do big show surprises now. It's hard to say. What do you guys think? Jeff Hardy is part of a music band. Yes, he is. Ballroom Dancer, excuse me. Yes. He's with his band. He's not just doing appearances. Hades World, who's going to take on the Universal Championship from Roman? That's a big, interesting question. We will see what happens at day one as well. Now, let's look a little bit at WWE viewership. Below is an ongoing resource, a list of viewership numbers for TV broadcasts. I know that people don't really care too much regarding viewership numbers, but it does paint an interesting story when we do look at it. Whoopsies. Now, what is happening here? Now why? Where is it? 2021. There it is. Oh boy. 503,000 viewers. Holy smokes. You know, guys, I'm not going to use that article. I don't think that's the right one. Let's see here. The numbers below are the average viewership for the entire broadcast. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Nope, that's not the article I wanted. Well, I thought they were going to get... I thought it was some article that was out that was just saying that the numbers, viewerships... There it is. Raw viewership details. So Raw. Monday Night Raw. I thought Raw was okay. They're getting into the holiday season, which is always difficult. Ooh, when am I going to do a Creation Suite wish list video? Very soon. That is on the list. Oftentimes I say it's on the list. It's on the list. So, what are we at? Tuesday to Wednesday? Thursday, Friday. My friend Ballroom Dancer, I will try and get that out actually by the end of the week. So stay tuned for wish list of what we want from the Creation Suite. But I'm actually going to poll all of you as well. And I'll put out a community post. Community thread questions, stay tuned. What do you want to see from a WWE 2K22 Creation Suite list? And we'll pull from that and we'll have a little conversation. Let's quickly look at this and then I'm coming right back to the chat because you guys are awesome. The viewership figures for last night's December 3rd episode of Raw have been revealed. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, who is awesome. This week's show drew a total of 1.573 million viewers, which is down from last week's Raw as 1.599. So slight dip. In the key 1849 demos, however, the show scored a 0.39, so 504,000 viewers, which is up from last week's low record of 0.35. The show wasn't advertised to key anything except Bobby Lashley addressing his attack. The advertised final of the RK Bro Nament was postponed due to an issue involving Montez Ford. So yeah, they didn't really advertise much for Raw. Again, highlights for me, I mean, the four-way match on the Raw, the WWE Championship side, I think is interesting. I think it's great to see Liv Morgan is getting a proper storyline going with Becky Lynch. It's great. I don't think she's going to take the title off Becky, but I do think that this is a great way to elevate Liv. You need more challengers in the Raw women's division. I just all of it all together, but in my opinion, you need to be building up more credible threats to Becky, to Charlotte. You have Bianca, who they did a really great job with, and they'll probably circle back to that with Becky to go to Mania. But in the meantime, you need other opponents, and you need to build up other faces or heels or whatever Becky feels like she's going to be that week. But they need to build those different opponents. So building up Liv properly is a really great thing. What I love to see is at the Rumble is, as an early prediction, I like to see Asuka come back and mix it up with Becky, because she could come back as a huge babyface and take on Becky for the title, because they have the whole thing of when Becky gave up the title and handed it over to Asuka. So you could create a storyline thread in there. So the women's championship should shape up when it comes to WrestleMania, but we will see. Let's go back to the chat for a second here. Somebody's tagging me on. I'll send you my own wish list on Twitter. Thank you, Ballroom Dancer. Do it. Just don't make it a page. Give me 5. Give me 5. I can take 5. How about the showcase predictions? Ballroom Brand. Yes, the showcase predictions. I have those too. Don't worry. It's all in the list. It's all on Matt's phone. It's all coming, guys. There's a ton to do, and I also have another channel that I'm trying to grow too. So we're gonna be going day by day on this. Botch TV. Good to see you, man. Loving the beard and the content, my friend. The beard. Oh, it's a slight overhaul. It was getting thick in there. It was getting a little nasty. Yeah, clean up my act a little bit. I think that's 2023 for The Rock, VJC. 100%. Yeah, Asuka. Now, you say Alexa should come back. I totally agree. Alexa Bliss should come back. That'd be cool if Alexa Bliss came back at the Rumble. You can do a lot of good things when it comes to the Rumble. Oh, Zach, getting into early just predictions for the Rumble. He's got Bailey. Bailey's around. You've got like Bailey, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, some of the legends you want to throw in there. You throw in a Trish Stratus any day of the week, make people happy. There's a lot of stuff you could do with the Rumble. The women's Rumble should be really interesting this year. I think the Rumble in general is going to make things interesting because I wonder where mostly Big E, like I have a lot of questions to Mania, but a Big E is a big question mark I have for now. Ronda, I don't know. But I'll tell you one person that won't be on at the Rumble, Karrion Kross, because he's teasing joining Control Your Narrative faction. Remember Karrion Kross when he was NXT champion and he had a big show and big lights and he had managers, wife, big to-do, big production, came to Raw. And he got let go. It was terrible. The former Braun Strowman, known as the Titan Adam Shearer, made a surprise appearance at last weekend's ROH Final Battle show, which was awesome. I watched all highlights of that thing, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Alongside Weston Blake, and an unknown wrestler to aid EC3. EC3 and Shearer have teased another addition to the Control Your Narrative group. By the way, it's not a good faction name. You can name it anything. Like, come on, guys. You're free agents. You could. I understand what it is, but you couldn't come up with like a 3-letter thing or like CYN is not very. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Could have done something. Better. When Shearer shared a picture of himself and EC3 recently released WWE star Killer Kross, Karrion Kross. Time will tell, he says. I just figure it's Braun saying it. Time will tell. So. Could we see? It's not a bad group. Interesting. You got 3 big guys going in, creating a little bit of a faction. Killer Kross, Titan, and EC3. Kind of cool. You know what? Do this faction. Change the name. They won't, but I don't like the name very much personally. Controlling Narratives has been around for a year and haven't done much. Yeah, see, Bomber, that's what I'm talking about. Like, come on, like start stirring the pot. Like, I know they're kind of waiting for like they've been waiting for Titan now, Braun Strowman to like be released and show up, and now he's showing up. You got EC3 who's been like kicking around for a while. Do that. Get Killer Kross. You got these 3 guys. Then get Drake Maverick because he's their buddy too. Put Maverick in there as the mouthpiece. And let him go like Rockstar Spud. Let him go nuts, and just spud on everything. That's gross, but you could do that. Then you have a 4-man faction. I don't like the name, but that's just me. In my opinion, it doesn't matter very much. All right, what is your take on 2K22 as of right now, Jaden? I'm excited. Been waiting a while for a new wrestling game. Started looking back at SmackDown versus Raw games. Ooh, and I have a fun video that I want to do. We're going to do a little bit of like reacts to like some SmackDown versus Raw, like 09, I think. Looking at like graphics and like top things you can do in the game that you can't do in 2K. And that's going to be a show coming up because it's just going to be a fun one. But I'm excited. Jaden, I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. It has a lot of potential. My big thing that I hope for the game, rosters are rosters. We can go to Creation Suite, downloads. We'll be fine. What I really hope is that they give the game, Jaden, that they give the game more attention as a live service model, live updates, patch the game, update the game as we go. What I hope is that this is kind of more of a platform. Probably won't be the case. They'll probably want to reiterate every year if they can. But my hope is that we get better, consistent updates, changes to the game, roster updates. I want to see what they do when it comes to DLC and additional content. You got new stars in there. We got new entrances, Titantrons. If they can update stuff, like that's what I'm really hoping to see. But that's very wishful thinking, I think. But I think it's coming along well. We're getting very close to January, everybody. So I think we're in good shape. Are you going to have a live online draft when you get the 2K22? Yeah. Guys, hey, don't worry about 2K22 here. You come to Assemble, you get your little nerdy news talking about 2K22 and maybe some other wrestling stuff. When you come here mostly for the 2K22, I'm telling y'all right now, we're going to have GM mode, we're going to have a draft, we're going to go through a whole GM mode playlist series. Episode 1 will be the draft. And then we're going to do that. We'll do that on our streams. I will have a My Career mode that we will go through. And we're just gonna go real deep, real hard. It's getting nasty, but we'll try not to make it. Lots of stuff going on. Tony Khan, my man, teases more AEW debuts. We talked about this. What day is it? It's Tuesday. We talked about this on Saturday. More debuts ahead of the upcoming specials. There are a lot of AEW shows coming up, everybody. And if you are not following along too much, that's okay. I got you covered. But there's also a ton to look at because there's these teasing stuff, guys. Bray Wyatt's out there. There's a lot of free agents. I'd like to see the Briscoes now that ROH is done for now. FTR showed up and started battling with the Briscoes at ROH. I want to see Briscoes in AEW. That tag division is stacked. So yeah, Lola Star, it's been a while. Hi, good to see you. Good to have you. Welcome back. It's been a couple of days. In a previous interview, AEW President Mr. Khan revealed remaining active in signing. It is Briscoes? Here. Orange Cassidy. Fist bump. Just for you. Noting that there are a number of free agents on the market and he admires. Khan said the following: I'm more than aware that there's a number of free agents out there. I bet he is, because he's probably got some he's eyeballing right now. Wrestlers I admire too, but I've got to say that you just have to keep watching over these next few weeks, and not just Winter is coming. I'm going to say that Kyle O'Reilly is showing up at Winter is Coming. That's my guess. That's my guess right now. There's the Holiday Bash, special from Greensboro, North Carolina. That includes the Christmas Day Rampage. We have the last ever episode on TNT, followed by the debut episode on TBS. There's Battle of the Belts coming in January, and I want AEW to run shows that you just can't miss, and I think these next few weeks are going to be really exciting for fans of wrestling. I am very excited. I don't know about you guys, how close you all look at AEW. The thing that I love right now for what they're doing is they are not doing the standard WWE thing of having 12 to freaking 15 pay-per-views a year, because they don't feel very special when you get a Backlash or an Extreme Rules, or throw out another pay-per-view from WWE that we all kind of go meh to. Some turn out okay and they have cool matches. But the pay-per-views for WWE don't tend to mean a lot when they're like the B shows. We wait for the A shows and they do bigger moments there. The other ones sometimes feel like glorified Raws and SmackDowns, and it's unfortunate. What I like about AEW and their strategy is they have their big 4 pay-per-views. That's it. Once a quarter, they have a giant show like All Out, and it really feels huge. You want to tune in to see what's going to happen. But they take their TV product like Dynamite and they turn it into like Winter is Coming, or they have Battle of the Belts. They've done like, not how long, they did like a Great American Bash style, I thought. But anyways, they do themed shows. And that's cool too, because that gets in your fans for free for the TV product. Ups their ratings, expands the audience that they're trying to grow. It's a lot of good stuff. Crown Jewel. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, like a crown jewel, WWE. Man. So yeah, I'm a big fan. What do you guys think when it comes to AEW and the possible future signees to the show? I think Kyle O'Reilly is coming soon because he's released and he's available now. Johnny Gargano is available, yes. He's updated his store on Pro Wrestling Tees. He is available. However, I think that Johnny, my gut, I mean, I'd be shocked. I would be genuinely surprised and happy if he showed up in AEW right away. I think Johnny Gargano is taking time off because he's having a baby. So he's timed this out perfectly for him to step away and take months and months at a time off if he wants. And he can balance offers and take his time. Maybe he wants to go to main roster WWE and he's just not doing it right now. Because maybe they would leave him for a post Wrestlemania and he shows up on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown. That would be really cool, because maybe he wants to try his hand at main roster. I hope not, personally, because I think he would get drowned in just just Roman Reigns. So I'd like to see him at AEW. And same thing, show up in a couple of months. We don't need to overdo the amount of talent in AEW. That's my one concern, is that they get too much talent in there and they get overloaded and saturated, and we don't get stars that can stand out as much and ones that we really, really like. However, you're talking about bangers of a roster, and you just need Rampage at a better hour. That's the main thing I'm looking at here. Guys, we'll just take a quick pause with you because I just want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Assemble. If you guys can support the show, hit subscribe in the channel, hit the thumbs up on the videos as well. Helps the algorithm, helps us get out there and reach bigger and bigger audiences so we can help grow this community, because it is awesome. I sincerely appreciate all of you guys taking the time tonight to hang out with us, talk a little bit of wrestling, little WWE, all of that good stuff. So I sincerely appreciate it. I love seeing all familiar names there in the chat. You guys are really, really great. What are the ratings? Hades World, what are the ratings for 2K22 wrestlers? I don't know yet. It's not there. It's not there yet, but it's coming. Let's switch gears. Let's talk Xavier Woods. Woods says he's hoping to normalize things with Up, Up, Down, Down in the coming months. Now, if you are not familiar, Mr. Woods here has not been on Up, Up, Down, Down other than a recent stream he just did. He has been gone off of Up, Up, Down, Down for several weeks due to the nature of the contracts with Up, Up, Down, Down WWE. WWE owns Up, Up, Down, Down. Xavier Woods hosts the show, and reports came out a few weeks ago that Woods basically doesn't see a dime when it comes to hosting and running Up, Up, Down, Down, which is terrible, and terrible by WWE. What's interesting is how Woods has had the King of the Ring. He's had a big push. He's been in main event matches, all that stuff, all around this time. So that's something. I just hope that Woods gets paid basically for doing all of this. Up, Up, Down, Down has millions of subscribers. He is the face of it. You cannot replace him. So I hope that he gets what he needs and gets what he earned. So he's done a live stream to come back. He says he's working it out. He's been over at G4, working with all of those guys, which is awesome. Xavier Woods, according to Fightful, Xavier Woods is hoping to steady the Up, Up, Down, Down ship in the not-so-distant future. During his most recent stream, WWE's King of the Ring said that he hopes to normalize things with the popular channel in the coming months. He noted that everything has been hectic with him joining G4 and hosting a show for Nickelodeon. Elsewhere during the stream, which can be seen up in the link that they have, he even responded to a fan question and said that they talked about ways to reunite on camera every day during a recent interview. Woods spoke more at length about reforming the party and the possibility of having AEW talent on G4. Yeah, I think personally, guys, I think the great thing was that so many of Woods' supporters, other wrestlers, people that have been on the show regularly, got his back about all this WWE stuff and not getting paid for it. What I really like to see is maybe Woods takes what he has, his name, his cachet, all this stuff, move it over to G4, or just his own channel, and maybe he just promotes it through G4 a little bit. But if what you have on other channels is like, you have like Chugs, for example, Adam Cole, baby, boom. You have Chugs doing his own Twitch stream all the time, right? Doesn't talk wrestling at all. You have the party, where you got Breeze and Cesaro and Woods and Chugs, and they're just doing gaming stuff. You can just have all those guys on. You can have the party on G4, and Woods hosts it. There's a lot of different options in there, and I'm sure all of that is kicking around in his brain because he could have way more control over it. And why not add all of that? It's better for G4, the party, all those guys, breathes new life. They could just bounce off of Up, Up, Down, Down, which would suck, but there's an audience with G4, and they could do something really cool. Rachel Marshall is in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, big supporter. Thank you so much. Rachel says, I think Rotunda will debut tomorrow. AEW are starting to initiate WCW on signing a boatload of wrestlers at the moment. I think you are right. I think that we're going to let's get some Rotunda in us on Wednesday. That would be killer. That would be a huge get. Rachel continues and says, what new wrestlers do you think will be in 2K22? I think that 2K22 will be around the week of March the 15th. That's when I predict it'll get released. And other stars. everyone is pretty much in the game. I mean, people have been like, I think a better question, Rachel, is like, who are we going to see that's been let go that could still be in the game? Yeah, I don't know if any really, really new stars are going to make the cut, to be honest. Like, I'm thinking of NXT 2.0, like Braun Breaker. I don't know if Braun Breaker is going to make it in. It's really tough to tell. ROH gone, a new company starts. Yeah, AEW should do a Forbidden Door pay-per-view with New Japan. I think so. I think they would pretty soon. Let's take a look here, guys. Let's see what else is going on in the news. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the chat, doing your thing. Remember, you guys can be channel members and subscribers like Rachel here. You get the fun little emotes in the chat. You do all the fun stuff. You get hype with us. You get the fun, cool emotes that we have, all the wrestling stuff. But I appreciate you guys' support and hanging out here on the show. Let's see. What did you guys think of Monday Night Raw? The one thing that stood out for me was going to be just the Becky Lynch segment, but that was pretty much it. I didn't find too much. I mean, Bobby Lashley got back in the mix, which was kind of cool. And speaking of Bobby Lashley, we do have the Bobby Lashley added to the WWE Championship match at WWE Day One. So WWE trying to do its thing get out of here. Get at the ads, guys. The ads are killing me. They're killing me, Smalls. Day One is shaping up to be a bigger pay-per-view. WWE's talked about this, that they wanted to make it a little bit bigger of a show than just kind of like a standard holiday thing where it's kind of a wash. They're trying to do something where they're going to make it a little bit better. WWE Championship match at WWE Day One will now be a Fatal 4-Way. Finally. I never get my Fatal 4-Ways. It takes forever. They never do it. You know what match we don't get that I really want? 3-Way Dance. You got triple threat with elimination rules. I love elimination matches. I love them. It creates drama. Give me a 3-Way dance match. Come on. But we got a Fatal 4-Way for this one. It was confirmed on Raw. Lashley opened the show, addressing his attack on Seth Rollins, Big E, and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is also... Okay, Rachel, you want to talk about who is going AEW? Wait for February, March, because Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen is going to AEW fast. That's when I think he's going to show up. Well, no, his contract's up in January, February, so... If he's got 90 days, we'll see Kevin Owens by like summer or fall. Maybe like a bash at the beach for AEW or something cool. But yeah, W officials say Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce then revealed that Lashley would be added to the match and he could defeat Rollins, Owens, and Big E in a singles match tonight. Tonight's the night on Raw. But the Day One pay-per-view, yeah, is shaping up. So now you got a Fatal 4-Way with Bob Lashley, added to the mix, which is kind of cool. I'm glad they shake it up. I think Kevin Owens, regardless of that match, that Fatal 4-Way, I think Kevin Owens is eating the pin. No matter what the outcome is, I think Kevin Owens is eating the pin for that match, which is too bad. But we'll see here. So the card itself... One second here. Let's go to WWE pay-per-views. No, I don't want that. What are you doing? WWE's website is no bueno. No bueno. I do not like. Let's take a look at our WWE. Oh, they did it this way. Okay, well, that's silly. So you have the WWE Championship. So early predictions here, guys. So we have WWE Championship match at Day One. Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bob Lashley. It wouldn't surprise me if they changed things up. I think you could have Big E drop the title at Day One. Not that I want it. I think it's interesting pay-per-view. I think Owens eats the pin in this Fatal 4-Way. I think Seth is the future WWE champion. Bob Lashley, I really enjoy as WWE champion. They need to keep building him back up. I think it... See, you could have Bobby win the title, and then you could have Big E get a rematch at the Rumble. Bobby beats him, and then you could set up Seth winning the Royal Rumble. And see, I'm trying to get to Mania, and I really think that you're going to get a Mania match of Edge versus Seth again for a final time. So I can either see Bobby winning or I can see Seth winning. I just don't see Big E retaining, unfortunately. He's great, but they haven't built him up. They haven't done what I wanted them to do with Big E. Like I just feel like it's getting to a spot where WWE is not as invested in him anymore. And they're looking at Seth and they're looking at Bobby Lashley as they added into the mix to really create more drama here. So it's kind of like wondering, what are they going to do when it comes to the Rumble? What do you guys think? Do you think Big E's going to drop the title? The other match that they've got on the card so far for day one is you've got tag titles, Usos versus New Day for the 20th time. Usos retain. Unless Roman loses the title. Which I don't think he's going to lose the title. So, you know what? I think early predictions, guys, unless stuff changes over the next little while, I think actually the New Day will win tag titles. They just trade the tag titles. Get them off the Usos to create drama with Roman. Because I would suspect that Roman there's gonna be shenanigans at a place called Shenanigans, because that's what my restaurant would be called, Shenanigans. But I think that Roman Brock, my early prediction is Heyman is going to double turn. We're going to get a double turn. I think Heyman is going to side with Brock. Roman's going to retain the title, but big kerfuffle is going to happen. And Roman walks out with the title, but he's betrayed by Paul Heyman, and Brock walks out with Heyman. And they could try and change it so that if the Usos lose the tag titles, Heyman leaves and goes with Brock. You could try and switch it now where a double turn where you get Brock to be the heel again and Roman you turn face. If they just go and they drop the title. Don't think they would at day one. I don't think it's worth it. You're not going to get the pay-per-view buys and the shock out of it that you want. Oh yeah. The other match, I don't care about this. Edge versus The Miz. Seriously? Edge wins. Edge beats The Miz. But I think you're going to have Maurice involved because they're utilizing her a lot more on TV. And I think Beth Phoenix comes in too. And if you're not going to do Edge versus like Seth at Mania or Edge in the WWE title match, which I don't think, to be honest, I don't know if I really want Edge in the title match again right now. He's had challenges for it. So I don't know. I could see them going with Edge versus Seth for the WWE title at Mania, and Edge wins and finally gets his Mania title match and runs as the champ for a bit. But I can see them doing, Doc, you beat me to it, Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice, and that's your kind of big showcase match at Mania. Miz does well in those. Miz and Maurice chemistry, obviously, is very, very good. And it'd be cool if Edge wins here at day one, but it's crap, or it's like a no contest thing. And Maurice gets heavily involved. Edge gets screwed somehow. Maybe they do that because it's day one. So maybe Edge loses by a really, really weird finish and outcome. And he has enough of it, and maybe Beth does a run-in at day one or on Raw, and that can set them up for either the Rumble, or maybe they're going to get into something at Mania. Maybe you get Beth versus Maurice at Rumble, and with Miz and Edge in their corners, and then you build them both up to a tag match at Mania. The promos can be good. That's the thing I'll give it, is that the promos could be good. The other match we've got here so far, everybody, is we've got Becky versus Liv. Becky's going to win, but it's going to be I think it's just going to be by crap. I think they're going to do something where Becky has to keep the title. They're trying to build up Liv Morgan, which I really appreciate, but I don't think they're there yet with her. So I think that they need to do a little bit more with Liv. I think it's a great showcase for her. Great way to build her up as a big singles babyface. It's not there yet. I think what they're doing is Liv is very much a placeholder to get Bianca to potentially win the Rumble. That's my early take. But I think Becky's going to win, either destroy Liv Morgan, like she's been showing on Raw, and if they don't do that, Liv is getting injured right now, so they're going to play up the injury. So Underdog is going to try and get really, really close to beating the champ, even with like a busted arm. So I think they're going to do that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens at day one. Are you excited? What do you guys want to see when it comes to day one? Do you think Roman's going to drop the title to Brock Lesnar, or do you think it's just going to be Roman wins and everything is the same? Rachel says Brock will win the men's Royal Rumble and Liv if they both lose at day one. Interesting. Yeah, I can see Brock winning the Rumble. That's a very good pick. Brock just comes in because when he was in the Rumble against Drew, and Drew won. Drew eliminated him. I could see Brock just gets screwed at day one or something, and then they just have Brock get pissed off, go super heel vicious, and just dummy the Rumble, and just be like, I'm coming after Roman. And they could set something up really cool there. Roman Reigns wins the Rumble. We'll see. Liv's got a way to go. Yeah, Liv is, they're working on her. Like, right? We're seeing it right now where you could see in a year from now or next SummerSlam, she's in a high profile match if they stick with her. But there's still work to be done there. They got to build up more of that women's division. Not that they need to, they have the talent, but they just lack actually developing them into storylines where it matters. They need that mid-card women's title, I'm telling you. Brock will come out at number 30 probably. Oh, of course, Rachel, of course. He's number 28 to 30, always. The Rock just wins. You know what? Rock comes out at 30 and just wins the Rumble. Boom, it's done. They need to acknowledge our tribal chief. Acknowledge me. Whoever wins the Rumble, Roman just comes out and he just says, acknowledge me. But we shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, that calls the wrap. I'm wrapping it up for today here on Assemble. I want to thank everybody for sincerely coming by live. Again, time we came on early. We came on about 8:30-ish. So we've done about 50 minutes or so of the stream. 45 minutes, I'll call it. But I want to get in here early because Matt's got to get some rest. Been pushing myself a little bit too hard lately. Doing the other show on the Xbox side, doing this show. I do want to say, our last episode that we did on Assemble, I did the... See, I'm tired. I'm blanking right now, guys. I did the one on... The heck was it? I can't even remember the show that I did. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. Oh, My Rise. And we did the entire piece on My Rise, this one here, and recently. So I really want to say thank you guys. You really make my day because you were a tiny little channel and things continue to just kind of poke along, and we get really great engagement. And like the one we just did on My Rise details, go check it out if you haven't already. But I really appreciate it because yeah, it's great engagement from you guys. You always comment. You're constructive. You're always leaving great feedback. I love it. It's been awesome. So anyways, we're gonna wrap things up for the night. Thank you so much for being here live on Assemble. Guys, if you want to support the show any way you can, you become channel members. You can hit that subscribe button, which is also very free. You can hit the thumbs up here on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next episode. See ya.